Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Sense8 Debate, number 2, number deuce. This is our That's Normal Google Hangout chat about Netflix's original series, Sense8. Thank you for joining us and being here. We have a lot to talk about. If you're brand new to our Hangouts, hi. Welcome to That's Normal. If Sense8, got you here somehow, you found us somewhere, and this is why you're watching us, hi. We love pop culture, we love ridiculous stuff, and right now we're going to love talking about Kala and Wolfgang from Sense8. Last week we talked about Sun and Cathius. Next week we're talking about another pair of Sense8s, and this week it's all about my little Indian princess and my little Berlin mobster boy. We're really excited. I'm Beth. I'm having a Dr. Pepper. And so I'm not going to be drunk tonight, but it's still going to be fun. And everybody on our panel, just introduce yourself. And, yeah, you don't have to say anything special. Just say hey. Lindsay, you go ahead first.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lindsay. I'm drinking Oberon, which is apparently my local Michigan beer. I just moved here 2 weeks ago, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. Yeah, and I'm excited to talk about Wolfie and Kala.
Yay!
Yay!
All right, Katie, say hi.
Hello, I'm Katie. I'm drinking some Fat Tire. This is my third. It's been a long week, so if I fall out of my chair, just dial 911 and have someone come get me. But yeah, I'm super excited. You know, I love this Sense8, so looking forward to the discussion.
Yay! Julie.
Hi, I'm Julie. I write for That's Normal as well. I'm looking forward to tonight's discussion because, hello, Wolfgang. I'm drinking white wine because it's also been a very long day. So
Has been. Today was Julie's first day of school.
that's right. Yay! I'm going back. No, I'm joking. No. Talking to students. So that's why I'm drinking.
Yes. Jamie, say hey.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jamie, the City Girl. I write for That's Normal as well, and I'm drinking out of some of. If you haven't seen me on one of her chats before, I like to drink out of interesting cups. This is one of my Marvel mugs. I'm going to lie and say there's something interesting inside, but there's not.
Then that wasn't a lie.
It's just vodka. No, I was kidding. But yeah, I'm really excited to talk. Especially because season 2 is renewed, so I think we could probably talk about what's to come, and I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, let's start out with that. We just got the news on the 8th, August the 8th, because it's Sense8, get it? So punny and cool. That they were renewing for a second season. And I also heard great news that I think the Wachowskis planned 5 seasons of the show.
Yes.
Oh, wow. So let's talk about that. Lindsay,
that's what.
Doing this. Lindsay was doing this. You seem like you knew things.
Yeah, well, they said that they had plotted out 5 seasons, so that makes me super excited. Anyway, I don't know. I was freaking out last week. It was really good news. I can't wait for more Hernando and Lito.
Hernando in a beanie is my porn now. Like.
Something about the way his face looks when he smiles, like the way his cheeks go upward.
Oh.
It is ridiculously cute. It's so cute.
It's not fair.
And then the way his glasses sit on his cheekbones.
The way he pushes them up all the time, like.
I mean, it's adorable. He's ridiculously adorable. He's better than Lito.
He is.
Yeah, I mean, Lito is more active on social media. His Instagram, you could just get lost there for days. He's pretty freaking adorable. I'm also watching his Spanish show, Velvet, on Netflix. You know.
I'm watching it too, Lindsay. What's going on? Whatever.
I had to get my fix somehow.
He's really cute, and like his real personality is very cute.
So cute.
Is his name Miguel or Manuel?
Miguel.
He's very cute. But anyway, we can't talk about them today. We're talking about Kala and Wolfgang. Focus, you guys. So I have this. I'm very excited about season 2. So we, real quickly, in season 2, I would prefer if the entire storyline of Kala, whether or not she's going to marry Rajan, is just gone. I want that to go away. I feel like it's all the sensates are having these real things happening to them, and she's just having, I don't know, worried about whether or not she's getting married. I hate it. I'm so ready for it to be over.
I totally agree with you. I feel like she has been the weakest conflict. It lacks any kind of immediacy or the power of the other, things that people are grappling with within the sensates. And I just, every time she's on, I just feel like I'm channeling my grandmother saying, shit or get off the pot. Either just don't marry him or shut the fuck up and marry him. And I just don't want to hear about it anymore. I totally agree with you on that one.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was one of the weakest storylines of all the storylines. I think it was resolved. I think that notion of what happened at the end with Kala and Wolfgang, I don't think she's going to marry the guy. I think she realizes now that she was never in love with him. She can't do that to him or her. And the fact that the dad was, is the guy's dad dead?
No.
No,
he's in the hospital.
He's in the hospital. Oh, okay. I mean, I could see it continuing, but I just hopefully it's not with her going back. And so, no, Kala, you should be with the nice little German boy who's a gangbanger or a gangster, whatever he is, but whatever.
Even if they aren't together, even if they aren't together right away or whatever was going on with them, I just don't want to see the Rajan. I don't want that to be her central story anymore. I don't know what it needs to be. I don't know if it needs to be something more political with his dad, and I don't know, but I don't need it to be what it's been so far. It's just kind of not fun.
Well, I thought they were going to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Katie.
I think. I have to say, I didn't like Kala through the whole, for that reason, through the whole arc. But what happened in the last episode with the conflict that started to happen between Wolfgang and Kala, when suddenly you have two sensates who are not seeing the situation the same way, was really compelling to me, and I would love to see that explored more. To date, it's been they've all been lovey and supportive and blah blah blah, but what happens when their worldviews start to clash? And I think that last moment when he shot his uncle in the face and Kala was standing there, and they just and he said something earlier about how she can't understand what's happening in his world, just like he can't understand everything that happens in her world. It's just a really compelling nugget for them to spin out in the second season.
Especially because they can understand each other. They're in each other's heads.
It kind of reminded me of in the Fever series, and of course I bring it back to that, but how Max just accepts Barons for who he is, and she realizes that she's not romanticizing his character. He's a killer, and she doesn't know what he eats for certain, and so she just kind of loves him, and that's despite, I guess, that's just part of him, and she loves all of him. So it's kind of with this situation, will Kala get to that point where she loves Wolfgang, even with everything that's going on and his questionable, in our terms, we question his morals, but that is the world he lives in, and that's what he grew up in. So it'll be interesting to see if that can happen.
I think it will. I think that that's the whole point, is when you're looking at the interior of a person, you're seeing not just what they're doing, empirically. He shot somebody in the face several times. He killed his father. He's doing all this stuff. But you're getting into the inside of who they are, and you're connecting with that, then that allows her to go kind of beyond that. That's why she already loves him, essentially. Which gets me to my first point. My major point of even talking about Kala and Wolfgang, hashtag Kala Gang, hashtag major OTP, they are the romantic OTP of this show. in my mind, there's all these couples in this show, and they're all awesome. And I've never watched a show where like all the canon couples are amazing, but Kala and Wolfgang are like the Romeo and Juliet of the Sense8s. Like they're it. They're the OTP.
I agree with that. I think so. I mean, because you want them to belong together. Everything in their path is getting in their way. Whereas Will and Riley, I mean, they're already connected and they've kissed and I mean, it was instantaneous. Where Kala and Wolfgang, Kala tried to fight it, but then there's this connection and there's all these obstacles coming after them. I mean, there's so much. But yeah, I agree. I definitely think they're the Romeo and Juliet of Sense8. For me, they're one of the most romantic. So
yeah. Well, first of all, they're the only ones that are linked to each other almost exclusively. Like they don't even get anybody else until super late into the game, and then even then, for Kala especially, she sees Capheus once, Sun for about 5 minutes, and then at the end, like that's it. And the first,
a little bit of Will.
Oh yeah, there's a little bit of Will when he helps her or whatever, but like it's so minimal, and their first taste of Sense8 is with each other, and it's when she's like experiencing his sexual activity. She's like, I'm super hot. I'm so hot, I'm burning up, and he is going, oh, I'm really craving Indian food. Like they're the what? That's literally what happens. And it's just so adorable. And then he's like, oh, no, I'm not really into a relationship. She's like, well, what are you looking for? And he goes, that Indian girl right there. It's like, it's gorgeous. Yeah. I love everything about their connection. I love it.
Oh, my God. Or is it at her wedding she sees him? Is he naked at her wedding?
Yes.
And we got to see the elephant trunk at her wedding. So I loved that scene where she's praying and she's like, you send me somebody with a large trunk. And you're just like, that's so sweet.
It is pretty sweet. What I love is when Rajan says to her at one point, he says, it'll be a great story for our children. They're going to say, my mother took one look at our mother took one look at our father and fainted dead away. And I was like, yeah, she took one look at the future father of her children and fainted. Was it you, Rajan? It was Wolfgang. She took one look at that baby maker and was like,
she got stigmatized.
Yeah, she did.
There's some interesting comments on Twitter. I just want to jump to and talk to what I'm seeing here. I saw that Anna was talking about how she thinks Kala's story is eventually going to be intertwined with Capheus and the HIV meds since she works in pharma. So that could be a possibility for the future, which actually would make a lot of sense if somehow they could even get the drugs to the mom, because it seems like there's a lot of distribution issues going on with that. But we are seeing a lot of agreement that everybody loves Kala and Wolfgang. They're loving their chemistry. Some people think that Will and I like them. We're seeing peen comments. Everybody's enjoying the peen talk.
Of course.
Well, of course, who doesn't? But I think here's the thing about Will and Riley. They're cute, and they might be fan favorites, but I think he's just got kind of like a hero complex, like he needs to save somebody, and so she's the most obvious choice of someone that needs to be kind of captured. And
there's no conflict with Kala. Kala is like Wolfgang's foil, and I love like what Katie was saying, like watching them, try and reconcile their two different worlds is going to be really hard for them to do. Mm-hmm. And what I love about Kala, though, and it's the same with Capheus, is you get to see this other part of the world. I think that since they shot in India and since they shot in Nairobi, you got to see these really, parts of the culture, and it made it feel really authentic, which I think sets the show like apart from any other show I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's definitely the like beauty of all those places, like even Iceland and even Berlin. Like I had to look up the memorial, the Holocaust memorial, or I guess it's the murdered European Jews is what that memorial is, where they're meeting Abraham to sell the diamonds. And I had to look it up and see what it looked like, and if because it looked like it might be like a labyrinth or whatever. And it's this long sloping hill of different, like, y'all probably know, I'm just the idiot who's never been to Berlin, so I had no clue what it was. And but it's this really cool place, and it's like that's where Wolfgang goes to feel connected. It's where he goes to think. It's it's where he sees everybody all at once, and there's a lot to be said just for the locations and the fact that they're in those places, and what they would mean for each one of those characters.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
That was a great scene when they had everyone, going through, especially, there's that line from that Abraham, the jewelry dealer, when he said, the talk of money is not so important in this place. And then you have, it's just that scene where like everyone is just trying to kind of puzzle through the conflicts that they're in and the whatever quandaries they're through. It's just like, it was so beautiful how they were just kind of passing each other and only connecting kind of, tangentially.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I think it's Will. He's in cargo shorts and crew socks. And he walks up and he reads where it says, are we just an aberration, or is this a reflection of who we really are? Which is, of course, this wonderful metaphor for the sensates themselves. Are they some sort of just aberration of nature? Or is it a reflection of humanity? Or is it a reflection of each other? It's just, it's got so much meaning. I love it. I love it so much. It's one of those shows that you can watch over and over again because it's got so much going on. It's so interesting.
And that's, that is definitely to the filmmakers themselves. I mean, there's so much layers to it that you do almost have to watch it again because there's certain things you miss. And you're like, wait, what happened there? What happened there? And I do agree. I think for me, what I took away from that scene was I think they're all like each one of them has that ability, that personality within them. Like, that notion that that Kala, she knows how to blow up a room using gas and everything. She has that deep. That's the wolf coming out of her.
Yeah.
Like, the killer's inside, so.
The killer's inside. And that was so adorable because she's sitting there making this Molotov cocktail, and he has, like, heart eyes the whole time. He's like, she's so adorable. She can make bombs. And then she totally saves the day for him. And what she says is, I may not be son, but I know how to fight, which is what he had just told Leto. I know how to fight. Like, fighting's easy. And, look at them just being so connected. I love it.
And I do think, I saw it a little bit in that when they were in the temple and, Will kind of stepped in for her and kind of scared the crap out of all of those, all of the religious people who had hurt the father-in-law, that like there's kind of like I feel like the potential of her exploring the dark side that she doesn't exactly understand but is there, I think is what the possibility in their relationship is that she can connect a little bit more of that. Like right now she's kind of really privileged and really protected in her life, and I think that's going to really change in season 2 and going to be really interesting.
And
because she's the most privileged out of all of them, for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And to back off that, Katie, the notion that this was in the temple where she worshipped, she saw the people that worshipped with her, and to have that done right in front of her face, I think that's going to totally just bring out that dark side that you mentioned even more so, because now she feels like her faith, her religion's being, it's completely changed literally in front of her eyes.
Yeah.
So.
And that's interesting, too. She talks about how, like, science and religion work together for her. They're both mysterious languages that aren't necessarily at odds with each other, but obviously, like, bring each other to more light or whatever. And Wolfgang's like, no, that'll work. But, of course, when she's praying, she says, Ganesha, like, show me the next thing I need to do or what I need to do. And he's standing right there. And I'm like, you need to do Wolfgang. That's what you need to do. Look, he's right there. I was making a point about science and religion that was going to be super smart, and then I turned it into a sex joke. So I'm sorry. I had a point, and I forgot it because I thought about that joke.
I have to go back and read up on my like a Hindu religion, because I know there's a lot of different gods in Hindu religion, and I'm sure there's something that probably applies to the whole situation of like the many like many faces or many minds coming together, because like I believe Ganesh has many arms, and so I'm sure like somebody smarter has written about the parallels between the sensates and probably something in Hinduism. So I apologize, world, for my ignorance.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about Hinduism either. Although my forum name back when I used to be hanging out on office forums was Blue Busty Gal, which was a hint to whatever the god that's blue with the boots.
Yeah, Vishnu. No.
That's all I got. That's all I got. And I know about Diwali, and I only know about Diwali from the office as well. So I'm really sorry at everyone who's Hindu. That
For our cultural ignorance.
I'm sorry. I did love her ideas about science and religion being similar languages that just both have mysteries. I thought that was awesome. But
yeah.
Let's discuss really quickly your favorite scene with Kala and your favorite scene with Wolfgang that don't involve each other. Oh. I have mine in mind already, but does anybody else have one they want to go first?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Wolfgang and Lido on the parking deck blowing up that guy's son is like, that's when I was shipping Wolfgang and Lido, because oh crap, Lido's in his underpants, and like it was just like the most perfect scene, and it actually made me realize that like, and I think I might have said this last week, but like I feel like there haven't been a lot of male-male interactions in the sensates, and I felt like that was a really powerful scene, to bring those two together like that, and it was such a great scene.
Oh, it's so good. That was mine. You totally took it. I love how Lido is coming out of this stupor. He's just in this horrible depression, and he helps Wolfgang through this thing just by doing what he does. And then when it's over, he's like, hell yeah! Woo-hoo! And he makes this adorable little childish face. And it just snaps him out of it, and Wolfgang gives him the courage to like fix his life. Oh, I loved it. Yeah. It was my favorite.
Yeah.
See, I love another scene where it's Wolfgang actually helping Lido kick that guy's ass, and he just like gives him his hands, like, all right, come here, I'll take this, like that mission. I'll take it from here, and the guy punches him, and he's like, you call that a finish? All right, let's go right now. And I was like, oh, Wolfgang, do it, Wolfgang.
Wolfgang has really, really great scenes. Like, even just simply when he's driving down the van, like when Will's like, I may not be able to do this, like hit the helicopter or whatever, but I know somebody who can. And then all of a sudden it's just Wolfgang being a total badass, just like going and just be like, I ain't got no problem with chicken. Like, I'm just chickening it all the way down here. And he's just there for like 10 seconds, and it's just so badass and cool. I love him. I love him.
Yeah.
Life is like in Berlin. Is that how men are like in Berlin? Because hell yeah.
Yes, please.
I don't know. You could get stuck with Steiner.
That's true.
Or Felix.
That's true.
All right, that's true. Good point.
Or any of the other men in the German section of what's going on, who all look like dick bags.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh.
I think it's also interesting with like the dichotomy of Will and with Wolfgang, because they're both, like badasses in their own right, but one is he's a police officer, so he's kind of like on the side of good, but then, good. And then there's Wolfgang, who's in kind of the underbelly of Berlin crime, and is kind of, he's the good, you could almost say like he's like the good guy of the bad guys. but to like them, both, even though, one's obviously like killing people as this is part of his life. So it's almost like we're going through the same thing that Kala probably has to go through, is like accepting him for who he is and liking him despite his murderous tendencies.
Yeah. And she just doesn't have any, she doesn't have any real, aspirations beyond what her life, and, she's, at the beginning, she's all like, oh, I went to university, and, that was such a big deal. And it is this great deal. She's this scientist. She's this female Indian scientist. That's fantastic. But, she doesn't have a whole lot of, adventurous aspirations. And then you get him, kind of barreling into her life, and it blows everything up. And you realize that they're all pretty extraordinary in some way. And I feel like we still are kind of exploring how Kala is extraordinary. And I think it may just be like how she's going to change all of the stuff that's going to kind of blow up her life, and what she's going to do eventually with it.
It would be interesting to see the one who turns the darkest of the 8. She's the one that just does a complete change and blows everything up in the end.
Or Cappius. Cappius just starts hating everybody. He's like, I'm just going to not be sunshine anymore. It's going to be horrible darkness. I don't think
But she's also, she's the only one who has any kind of connection to faith. And I think that's, I really like that scene with that as well, when she was talking about the relationship to science and faith. And, there's this kind of, incredibly, they said it in that scene, wouldn't you consider this a miracle, that we have this connection, kind of bringing that, what is being a sensate about, and how does it relate to faith and, whatever powers and everything. And I think that's gonna, she's really the only one who's in that world.
Yeah. And too, she's the only one saying, gravity, is gravity a miracle? We just accept that it's there or whatever, but if it wasn't there, all of our cells would just fly around and we wouldn't be able to be what we were or what we are. And so she makes these connections that no one else necessarily is going to make on, or at least with this group of 8. I think Fernando would probably make them at some point.
Yeah, totally.
Because he's an erudite motherfucker. But she's the only one making those kinds of connections. So I really think that she's an interesting force, even though I think when I first started watching the show, her scenes were my least favorite. I was like, I am done with the dude on the motorcycle and the weird Bollywood dancing and the cheese. I couldn't handle it.
Yeah. And passive aggressive, that whole scene when they're walking on the, by the water, and she's like, your dad didn't think we should get married. So, and just trying to get him to back out. I'm like, oh God, just say it or don't. Shut up.
Do you think that he's got ulterior motives? That there's something else going on?
Maybe, but my other feeling on that is she has the internet. There's kind of all this I don't know. It's not like the 19th century. If she has questions about his motives or what he's into, is he trying to influence Indian culture? Doesn't she have the internet? It doesn't have to be such a mysterious thing in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my feeling.
I think I don't understand their culture enough. Obviously, they don't date without a chaperone. I can't even figure out really her age. I guess they're all supposed to be. Are they all supposed to be the same age?
Yeah, they're all the same age. I think they're all 30.
So she seems old to be a woman in the 21st century, regardless of what culture she's in, but be anticipating her aunts are anticipating that she's a virgin and doesn't know anything about sex, and he seems to anticipate their wedding night. Obviously, they're not sleeping together. So, there's this weird disconnect between the fact that it's 2015 and the way her culture, arranges marriages still, and what she's supposed to know and what she does know. And so, does she? Yes, she has the internet. Obviously, she's adept at using it. But at the same time, it seems like there's a secretiveness to secrecy. Secrecy is the word I was looking for, guys. Secrecy. There's some sort of secrecy to who these people really are.
Secretivity.
secretiveness. But anywho, it just seems like they're not very open. And so maybe there's not that kind of American, this is who I am, you know, go to my website, figure out, you know, my mission statement or whatever. I'm on LinkedIn. It doesn't seem like that's going on there.
Oh, God.
Real quick, Jamie on Twitter, not me, but Jamie Campbell, mentioned one of her favorite scenes was Kala and Caiaphas watching movies. She thought that was like a really sweet moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was really fun.
That is
I didn't tell what my favorite Kala scene was. We talked about our favorite Wolfgang scene.
Oh.
My favorite Kala scene without Wolfgang is very short, and it's when she shows up in Sun's cell, and she's just bawling because she's anticipating Wolfgang's imminent demise. And Sun says, you know, you're human. You're only human because you're feeling. And she's like, when all of the rage, desire, love, yeah, I put all of that into my fist. And I'm just like, God, Sun, you're such a badass.
Oh my God.
She is. Real quick, Anna on, I can't say her Twitter handle, so I apologize, Anna. You should phonetically tweet it to us. But anyways, she was pointing out that Wolfgang isn't like a killer for hire. He's just a thief, and the killing is really just more about like the family situation. Which is possible, but he's also very adept at killing. So, I mean, at the same time, I'm like, he might have, maybe there's other things that have happened that we haven't seen. Or he just, you know, practices shooting a lot at the range. It's possible.
He is really good at it. He's kind of a sharpshooter.
Yeah, so which makes me think like there's other things that maybe are going on, but yeah, I would say at least when we come and meet him originally, it seems like it's just really, he's a thief, and at least initially we don't think that he's that kind of person.
Maybe he's tapping into a little bit of Will and a little bit of Leto when he does stuff like that.
Well, he did say, I mean, again, when he was in the car going to his uncle's house in that last scene, you know, he says, you know, because of what I've done, you know, basically, if I don't do this now, no one I ever care about will ever be safe.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
so it's like, you know, he's doing it for the friend whose name I've already forgotten. And,
Felix.
You know, thank you, for Kala. You know, he did it, you know, he killed his father for himself. Like, there's, you know, I'm not absolving him, but there's kind of an intentionality behind his targets that I think is more personal, and it's more about keeping the ones he cares about safe.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think that he's out killing people when he's not needing to.
Just for fun.
When they're not related to him.
He's just a product of that environment. I mean, you see who his dad is. Obviously, his uncle and his cousin were like a big part of his life. Like, I don't know. I'm not that surprised that he's able to kill people.
Yeah, I'm saying maybe his skill is coming from Will or something, like his actual skill with the gun.
Oh.
But like his, you know what I mean? But like maybe his just like, I don't know, access to bazooka is just because he's in the German mob. I don't know. Like, that just seems like to me.
Because we all have a German bazooka in the back of our car.
Is that a bazooka? Is that what you call it? RPGs, maybe?
It's an RPG. I don't.
Is it really an RPG? I made that up.
No,
Yeah,
that's what he says. He says it's an RPG.
He does?
That's what Wolfgang says. Yeah.
I feel very smart and also stupid that I didn't know he said it. It was just in my brain because he said it, and I was like, it's totally, I made that up. All right.
Wolfgang is your sensate as well. He spoke it to you.
That is perfectly fine with me. Speaking of being Wolfgang's sensei and how awesome that would be, we need to discuss for just a minute something super serious, the orgy scene.
Oh, here we go.
I was going to say, that's my favorite Wolfgang thing.
Yeah, exactly, because no one mentioned it as their favorite Wolfgang scene without Kala. And the big glaring, like red sirens in that scene is there's no Kala in that scene. It's Wolfgang and Leto.
And Wolfgang never seems to get the payoff that everyone else gets either.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that we don't see his payoff because that would be obscene, since we could see his payoff. If you know what I mean.
I don't think it's obscene. I think it's art and beautiful.
I agree.
Wait,
I think
not that I haven't seen the YouTube clip a lot of the orgy scene.
Mm-hmm.
But who's the woman walking? She's naked. Is that? I thought that was Kala. That's not Kala.
I think that reminded him of her. Like, I think that was kind of the spin-off point for him, is that it's not Kala, but I think that it reminded him of her. And I actually have some questions about his involvement in that. Like, it's in a way like it was almost like he was orchestrating that. There was like a weird thing where he was like, I don't know. I couldn't quite figure that his role out in that whole lovely, beautiful, sweaty mess that I love.
It seems to me, I haven't gone into the mechanics of every aspect of it. From what I can remember, he is very passive. Things are happening to him. He's not he's not acting on anyone. They're in the pool on him, and he's not going into anybody else's scene. Is that right?
No, he was on the bed with
Fernando
and Leto.
And Leto in Fernando's bed.
Okay. Well, never mind. That theory's out the window. But
maybe there's a GIF of it and we can all look.
I'm sure there's many GIFs of the many scenes. But I do think that he says at one point when she's asking him to leave her alone, he says, "Believe me, I try. When I don't think of you, I try not to think of you, and it leads me right to you." So I think because she's not there, he is thinking about her.
Oh.
Because when he says, "I try not to think about you, and it leads me right to you," I think he's thinking about her in that pool at that moment, and that sparks this sexual frenzy.
Yeah.
Everybody.
But then wouldn't she have been there too? I don't really get how that whole thing works.
I think maybe he's letting himself indulge in thoughts of her. And so then she's not showing up because he's just letting himself go there. Where normally he's fighting it, and that's what brings... Or it could just be they didn't want to put her in the orgy scene.
Yeah, so they left poor Sun out of the orgy scene, and I mean...
Sun and Capheus could really do... They need some. They need to get some. They should have just been in the orgy scene.
Of anybody, they really, really deserve it.
Right?
And I think we need another one in season 2 to make up for that.
That's going to be the giant orgy. Sun's punching everybody, getting off on it.
Yeah, but I do think that that Wolfgang is definitely the catalyst for that scene. I liked all of his sex scenes, to be honest.
God bless the Germans and their embracing nudity.
Why is he naked in this pool? It's like a YMCA or something, like the German YMCA.
And Germans do that. I have been to Germany. They do that. They just are naked. That's what they do.
It looked like it was a bathhouse where you would be naked. I have done German baths naked before. If you haven't experienced it, it's lovely. Go to Baden-Baden. There's Roman baths. You can be naked, and there's women, and you can separate or go on co-ed days, and there's people of all different shapes and sizes. And at one point, a German woman scrubbed me down with a scrub brush, and then slapped my ass when I was done. It was an experience. But anyway, so that's why I took it as kind of like a bathhouse European thing, where he was just kind of chilling in some mineral water.
That's lovely. I love to swim naked. I don't do it very often.
It was good times.
I don't have my own pool. But when I do it, it's great. It feels good. Everyone should get to swim naked whenever they feel like it. That's what I think.
Well, next European trip, we'll try and hit some of the Roman baths.
That is definitely what we should do. Most definitely.
Oh.
You might be disappointed. Is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, there's usually just old men walking around.
Exception.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, it's like going to a nude beach.
Totally. The paunch is like covering it. You don't even see it because it's just.
We need to liven up this conversation a little bit. So everybody get your karaoke voices on because we have to sing What's Up.
Oh, God, no.
Ready? Who's ready? Who's going to start it?
Wait, what are we singing?
We have to sing what's going on. We have to sing the Four Non Blondes. It's their karaoke song. 25 years and my life is still, come on everybody, trying to get that great big hill of hope for a destination. No one's doing it. Y'all suck.
Well, honestly, I would. I have a terrible voice, but I would. But I'm going to guess that between all the delays, it's going to sound really shitty to anybody who's listening. Sorry, guys.
What delays? This is perfect tech. I don't know what you're talking about. Everybody's got AT&T, and AT&T is so fantastic. There's no lags. We all look crystal clear. 1080,
Absolutely.
No echo.
1080 DPI, guys.
But that was kind of funny that was their song because my friend Amanda, like, that's her go-to karaoke song all the time. And I was like, oh, they took it from you. And now everyone's going to be like, oh, did you pick that because of Sense8? No, that was hers for years.
Yeah. It's a good one. You
It's
can
good.
hit that.
I just watched that scene again today, and I just had like total. I was like crying at the end. I was like, it's so beautiful.
They're so happy. Like, they're singing it all over the place. They're on the rooftop. They're in her bed. They're at the karaoke bar. And then everybody's humming it. And even Nomi, she's about to be lobotomized. And she just, hey, yeah, yeah. It's great. It's a great scene.
It is a great scene.
I don't know how they put together just this fantastic show that has all these great iconic moments already.
Yeah.
They just make you really happy.
Did you have you watched the making of on Netflix yet? Which is fabulous, and I totally recommend it. It's like, it's amazing because
Is it linked?
no, it's like at like 20 or 30 minutes. It's not.
Okay.
It's not very long.
Okay.
It's not like an episode length, but like the way they did it with the shooting and like, you know, a lot of the things where it's like switching out characters, like it's not a cut. It's like literally like actors are like ducking out of scenes and popping up again, and just like they have this like huge like continuity thing that they go with. Like the airplane scene with Van Damme and Riley, they actually shot on the airplane as they were flying to another location. Like it's just like, it's like, and it just like infuses it like this like reality of it, and they all travel around as a group. Like they all go to, you know, from Iceland to like Berlin to Nairobi, and they all travel as a group, and like you can just totally see how they've just gelled as this like amazing, you know, group of characters, and it's really good. You should watch it. Let's watch it now. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's all watch it
all
together
pause while
right
we
now.
watch it. You can watch our reactions.
And
I found. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, for the pervs waiting for the GIF that I said there's probably one out there, I did find one. Actually found a blog post full of GIFs
Amen.
of all the sexiest scenes. However, there is a video when you click on the post before you can get to all the sexiness. So just so you're warned, it will conflict with our audio, so you can save it for later, but I will tweet it out.
Oh, yay. Everybody needs that. All you really have to do is go to Tumblr and click on Kala Gang or Wolfgang and Kala, and you're going to see all the goodness. Or Sense8 Orgy.
Yep.
That'll get you straight to the good stuff. I personally like just the Hernando and Lito scenes.
Yeah. I may or may not have that YouTube video downloaded on my computer to GIF at will.
How
But
about...
probably not, because that would be wrong.
That's terrible of you. I'm embarrassed for you.
I watched that. What was it? It was only like 30 seconds is when they announced the Sense8 and the cast were like, happy birthday, Sense8. I was like watching the first like 3 seconds like this.
Can we just talk about how, like, nobody understands that you should not film videos vertically and it should be horizontally? I was like, come on, you're actors. Like,
Yeah.
get your shit together.
Even professionals, they're like, dun, 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 dun. No, that's not how it works.
So bad. And speaking of that video, I was a little disappointed, Brian, in your dog. I'm going to guess that was either a current girlfriend or ex-girlfriend who bought that dog, because no man's like, let's get a King Charles Cavalier. Sorry.
I'm sorry. He set up an IG account for the dog. The dog is his dog.
Oh.
It's his dog.
For sure, his dog.
It's like, I just can't take guys with wimpy dogs.
Maybe it is a holdover from, like, his home. Like, his parents, maybe they have them and it was a puppy, or it was his dog when he was, like, a teenager or something.
Yeah. It just, I'm like, I still love him, but I'm just like, ooh, I mean, it's like you already do theater.
Yeah,
like,
you want him to have, like, a Rhodesian Ridgeback, like a hound.
No, he should have, like, a mutt, that's probably part pit bull. I mean, come on.
I have a mutt. It's part pit bull.
They say they're the best.
I'm reading Where the Red Fern Grows right now with my daughter, and that's all about some coon hounds. Get you a coon hound.
I don't think I even know what a coon hound is, but
It's a hunting dog. It's a hunting dog with big ears.
Yeah.
There we go. Are you looking for us, Brian K. Smith? You need a better dog.
Yeah.
Rhodesian Ridgeback. Those are actually really, really sexy dogs. I went whitewater rafting once, and the Ocoee River guides at whitewater rafting are just the hottest people in the world, and they all have these amazing, like, masculine dogs, like, just the hottest dogs ever. And one of them had a Rhodesian Ridgeback, and I was like, what kind of dog is that? And I was really thinking, what kind of dog are you? I was like 17. He was like 35. He was like, go away.
Well, I'm glad he was at least like, go away.
He definitely was. You trust me.
Because otherwise that story was going in a whole other direction.
It wasn't good. I have more to that story. I'm just not going to give it to you.
Not for public consumption. I get it.
Listen, I'll tell you later. Just wait out for periscoping afterwards. Good story.
For the after show.
Later, guys. All right. I think that's it for our Kala and Wolfgang discussion, unless you guys have some grand plans coming up. Ready to wrap this up? Real quick,
Yep.
if you're on Twitter and you have time, vote for us whether or not next week you want to hear us talk about Leto and Nomi or Will and Riley. Who do you want us to save for last, Leto and Nomi or Will and Riley? I personally don't care. That's why I'm asking you guys to pick. And I really kind of don't want to talk about Will and Riley together. Like, that's how much I'm not shipping them. Like, I'm cool that they're a thing, but they kind of bore me a little bit. I'd rather talk about Nomi and Will at the same time.
Well, I think I think what's going to get interesting with Will, and I guess I could wait until we talk about it, but it's just basically now that due to the ending of the series and what happens, like how they could even stay together or how they can be near anybody, and like just how they, what, because now he's like a time bomb, like, because
he's just going to be a vegetable. They're just going to keep him sedated.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a question for Will. Will you actually have lines next season?
I bet he gets like a savior complex or something, and tries to run away and kill himself or something. He'll get he'll get a savior complex. He already has a savior complex. He flew to Iceland to save her when, like, his powers work where he is. Put your skills to use where you are.
Well, I guess it's true, but like he needed to like physically do things as well, which it's not like they could just take over random bodies.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
but
I kind of get it.
Still. He put the whole thing in jeopardy because he has a savior complex.
That scene was so cool, though, that when they were all finally working together, I loved that last like part of that episode.
The very last scene where they're all on the boat together, that I just loved it. But did anyone catch the song that's playing when they're all on the boat together? Does anyone know where that song's from?
Is it Teenage Wasteland by Icelandic Dude?
You remember when the mid-season Outlander preview premiered and they had this song? There was this just bad song with it. We're like, what the hell is that song?
Yes.
That was the same song.
What is it?
No! I don't even know how it goes, but it starts with like this like little piano playing, and then it's some woman's voice. I don't know, but I was even thinking on the Sensei, I was like, God, what's that song? That song's annoying. I've heard it before, and I'm like, no.
Maybe it's like free common use crap, and they're just like, here, you can have this for all your like bad editing when you don't have good choices.
Yes, that's exactly. I'm gonna find the song.
Royalty free.
Yeah. That's
Which
exactly.
would be really funny if that's the case. Or Bear McCreary wrote it, and we're total idiots. It's probably more likely.
Oh boy.
So when do we think season 2 is going to premiere? Did we hear anything about that? Obviously, they're not shooting it. Are we talking like a year from now? I have to wait a year.
Probably a year. I mean, this season premiered what, June 5th? Like, I feel scared. Is what I feel, that it's not going to be until next summer, because it's logistically kind of a nightmare.
Yeah. I think I read something that said that they shot for like 4 months, and then of course the editing process is a long time. So you're talking, I mean, that's going to be a good chunk of the year before they can even have it ready, I would think.
Yeah.
The good thing about Netflix is they're not bound by any sort of schedule. They don't have any network scheduling going on, so I guess when something's ready, they just throw it up.
And I'm willing to wait. You know, if they need to go film on location, I think that just lends to the authenticity. And there's such a, you can just tell the difference. You know, maybe it's not a conscious thing, but there's just something to the quality of pieces when they're actually filmed on location, and when they have, especially when you're talking about people in different cultures, and to just actually be in those places. I think it just lends to it so much. So take your time.
Well, and
try and wait patiently.
I wonder if now characters are going to be in the same places more often. Like Riley and Will be together now. Like Chicago probably won't play into it anymore. So their amount of locations might become smaller.
I really think that they probably should all congregate in like Memphis.
San Francisco. No, definitely San Francisco.
There really needs to be a little bit of Southern American flair, and this is really, it's Elvis week right now, so it'd be a great time to come.
They're all Elvises.
And it really is Elvis week, by the way. It's crazy here right now. I don't know anything about that because I'm in the suburbs, but all I'm saying is if you need to come to Memphis, Netflix, Wachowskis, dude who plays Wolfgang.
Katie, you're going to be on the lookout for, because, I mean, they'll probably shoot in San Francisco still because of Nomi. So if you see Katie popping up in the background of Sense8 Season 2.
I am going to be so stalking their IG. It's going to be ugly out here. And I guess they premiered it. I didn't realize that, but they premiered it at the Castro Theater here last season. So fingers crossed. Season 2 as well. But yeah, it's going to be...
You're definitely going to be able to find some shooting locations.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Going to premieres. We're going to get you all over that red carpet, girl. You're going to be there.
I've already gone. I saw an Instagram picture of Lido at like California and Kearney Streets, and I went and just rolled around on the sidewalk, hoping that I could like get some particles into me from him. Just like roll around.
Where's the DNA? Where's the DNA I need to clone Lido for my baby making machine? That's a good time. I'm coming to San Francisco with you when that happens.
Oh yeah,
I'm just gonna
definitely.
come and hang out with you. We're gonna
definitely good times.
Okay. It's a thing. All right, guys. We've been on for an hour. I can't believe it. We talked Kala and Wolfgang. We talked about the trunk. We talked about orgy. We talked about Rajan being the worst. So we're signing off. We'll see you next week, the same time. Actually, I don't know if it'll be 10 or 10:30 Eastern, but we'll be here, and we'll be talking about another couple.
Somebody.
Probably Riley and Will. I don't know. It doesn't matter. There's only 4 left. We'll just spend the whole time talking about Hernando. That's what we're doing next. Hope to see you all there. Goodbye, guys.
Bye.
Joining us on Twitter. Bye.